ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all, and we are deliberating verses from the 7th chapter, and we had touched and rather seen this verse number 19 in our last class. So, from the discussion that people do not understand, or Arjuna, you yourself do not mistake that I am not the content of the world. World lives in me, and through Maya, due to Maya, and due to evil deed, and not having that intelligence, having robbed their knowledge, taken shelter to demonic tendencies, people does not understand me. Those this Maya of made up of three gunas, and the different states of these formed by the modification of three gunas. This whole world is deluded, and they do not know me that I am the greatest and indivisible infinite. So this divine Maya is very difficult to cross over, and one who surrenders me, they will be able to go across it. So four kinds of devotees, they worship me, and among them the Jnani is the greatest. And continuing that idea, he had said in the 19th verse that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevah Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. This is what he said. Now, some people, for the sake of the context, they might interpret this in different way. But what I see here exactly, that the name of this chapter Adhyaya itself is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. So to distinguish what is Jnana and Vijnana, This is what Bhagwan is doing since the beginning, otherwise he would not have come to break his stream of thought at this verse number what we see in the 12th. He said, all these satvika, rajasic, tamasic bhavas, they come forth from me. And then he objects, na tvaham teshu te mai. But remember, do not do mistake. That is what his attempt is, to distinguish this knowledge from this special knowledge, Vishesha Jnana. That is something different. So here what we see in 19th verse, that the Jnani, once the individual who has attained knowledge, I have given lots of examples in our last class also. So he has got knowledge, but to gain this special knowledge, what is that special knowledge? He mentions here in the second verse, in the second part of this verse. And again this idea is, it will come. So what is that? That now here he say Vasudeva Sarvam iti, that Vasudeva is son of Vasudeva. Okay, he is Vasudeva, means referring to Krishna himself. That Krishna Vasudeva, he has become everything of this world. Vasudeva Sarvam iti. This is the wisdom. Vasudeva in the sense, so that where on one hand it is being referred to the name and form, like a person who has taken the birth through the womb of his mother Devaki. Vasudeva is father, so he is like a ordinary mortal being, one can say so. So what is the difference? So Vasudeva, a man who is born like any other man. And on the other hand, it says like a Sarvam iti. So there cannot be, he has become everything. So a man, he is limited physically. Everywhere there are limitations. So it cannot be universal in any context, time, place, or cause. It can only be principle. So in the same phrase, so where somewhere personal is referred and principle is referred. So with form, name and form is referred, and something which is beyond name and form, such principle, that is referred. So one who has solved this tangle, and is a matter of constant realization for an individual, Vasudeva Sarvam iti. One who he is realizing this, who lives this, that Mahatma, he is the great soul. And that Mahatma is rare indeed, Sudurlabha. So this is the ultimate stage. This is the ultimate stage. This is what knowledge is supposed to mature into. So knowledge is one thing. Like there is no higher than that, going higher than that. Like there is no vertical point higher than that. You reach there. That is knowledge. Okay. But from there you live there and see all the views, 360 degree. Become acclimatized to it. You live it, you absorb it, you assimilate it. That is something, this special knowledge, wisdom. विजय इधर आना थोड़ा तो. एसी कम करना है क्या? ठीक है. अच्छा. ओके. हाँ, है नहीं, आप लोग को एसी कम वगैरह करना है क्या, ऐसा कुछ है क्या? नहीं है ना, ऑलराइट, ठीक है फिर। सो so this is something in Christianity puts it very in another way. So they call it immanent and transcendental aspect of God. That you realize that you are not body, mind, or psychological stuff, or anything defined by any kind of adjectives. You are not that. You are the constant witness, constant, ever present, undivisible, infinite, non material, therefore unblemished, unborn, therefore undecaying, such kind of principle. So, non material, it is non psychological also, it is non mental. So, it is not thought, it is not idea, it is not concept. Okay, so it would be too much for us, to have thought of it, because when we say thought of it, then it is not it. All right. So this is the paradox. Okay. So it cannot be brought into that. We are talking about it, but it is not exactly that. Do you understand that? So we dream of, you see, there is one suppose beautiful drink. Okay. We talk a lot about that. How much we will drink that beautiful suppose water. Okay. We are having lot of discussion and lot of ideas and thoughts. It does not mean we are drinking the water itself. That is not happening. Okay. So we will have to go to that particular place and that particular water has to be brought and then you have to drink. That is different. We are talking about that entity does not mean we have that. We are just talking about it. That is separate. That entity itself is beyond that. Now, so having this knowledge within yourself, so it frees that individual. He is jnani. Alright? He is jnani. Jnanavan. That is the word used. And Bhagwan is saying that such a person comes to propitiate, surrenders to me after so many births. So it can be meant that after so many births, somebody gets the knowledge and he comes to surrender to God, and then he graduates or matures or get promoted to this stage where he realizes that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. At that time, this tangle, this contradiction he has resolved between name and form and nameless and formless, between personal and principle. This tangle he has resolved. That once he says Vasudevam, and on the second breath he is saying Sarvam iti. So principle Brahman has become everything. That is all right. That is knowledge. And this is wisdom, that Vasudeva indeed has become everything. Vasudeva or any for that matter. So this tangle is resolved. So that is the greatest devotee of the God. This God himself is saying. So it is not the belief or understanding. It should be the matter of living of that individual. Vasudevaham Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Su Durlabha. That's what he says. So, in the life of Thakur, Ma and Swamiji, there are such instances which can explain this idea to the extreme, how far this idea can be taken. So, for example, that God has become everything, or rather, I have become everything of this universe. So Sri Ramakrishna had one day, there where he was living in Dakshineshwar, he is looking at this vast lawn in the campus of that Dakshineshwar Kali temple. As we see now, it is completely made up of these tiles and that artificial floor. So it must be plain ground and green meadows. Okay. So what his mind was completely absorbed in it. This is something, this tendency of these rishis or these great souls, that to be absorbed in the this scenic, beautiful, picturesque uh, raptures of the nature. Sri Ramakrishna had that tendency. We see at his the very first samadhi, the experience of such losing self consciousness. It came to him at the age of 6, when he just saw a string of cranes which were flying across a dark cloud, and the whole beauty of it. Sri Ramakrishna has left consciousness. His mind has become one pointed. He liked it. His mind became concentrated, focused, lost the consciousness, the self consciousness. So it went into deep as soon as it triggered his mind. He liked his mind. It became one pointed. Swamiji's life, we see such instances. Now, here what is happening, when Sri Ramakrishna was looking at that grass so intently, and this after his later stage of life, when after he has gone through his sadhana, etc. Now what happened, when he was looking at that grass, one person, as usual, he went across that meadows, that patch of the grass, in his own way of going, trampling down that grass. Okay. Sri Ramakrishna's mind had become so much one with the grass itself. So he felt that that person is as if walking over his bare body. And some like, not only that, it is not only his feeling, when somebody came to see him, he shrieked, uh, with his ear piercing sound. Somebody heard that somebody as if hurt Sri Ramakrishna very badly. And when people come and see that, it appears like probably a cat with her sharper nails and paws, they had scratched his bare body, his chest. It almost appeared like that, and people were flabbergasted. They were shocked that who could do this to such kind person. They did not even know how that happened. How could one imagine that if somebody at a farther distance, somebody is walking over the grass, can produce such result on Sri Ramakrishna's own physical person? How far this idea can be taken? Sri Ramakrishna's life is again and again the testimony of it. How literally true and to what extreme he has shown in his life the proof of these things. His life is the proof of these things. What scriptures say, talk, he is the proof of those things. In Narad Bhakti Sutra, this phrase comes, Shastri Kurvanti Shastrani. That Shastras, the scriptures, they have the authority to speak over this matter about religion and spiritual life of Dharma and Adhyatmic Jivan. Now, who gives the authority to the scriptures, if this question is raised? So, in answer to this, there are people whose life is the testimony of this, what is contained in those books, they are called as Shastris. So these Shastris give authority to these scriptures. Their life verifies, vouchsafe what is said there literally. So this is what we see. Vasudevah sarvam iti. So this is the wisdom. Sri Ramakrishna many times. So like there is a instance. Swami Saradananji Maharaj in his younger days when Sri Ramakrishna was there, and they are all doing sadhana, tapasya very intently. He said to Sri Ramakrishna, so that I want to have that knowledge, that that sarvam khalu vidam brahma, that everything is Brahman. This knowledge I want to have. Sri Ramakrishna said very smilingly and yes, yes, yes. It will come in its own time. Okay. It's just, it is the last thing. This is what he says. It is the last thing. It is the ultimate thing. You do not begin with that. It is the last thing. Vasudeva sarvamiti. So this is what the Vijnana is. Jnana and Vijnana. That you realize that you are not body mind, you are the principle. And this is Jnana, and Vijnana is that principle has become everything. You are Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, you realize this is Jnana, and Brahma Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, this is Vijnana. That everything is Brahma. That I am God and everything else is God. I am God, this is knowledge. And everything else is God also. That is wisdom. That is Vijnana. So, here this topic, somewhat, Bhagwan, you see, takes here now another thought. So, about the other people who does not understand this. He made it clear what is the greatest thing, who can be the greatest devotee. What is this wisdom or special knowledge is about? Now that he revealed, that he told, that now what does he say? So now in the 20th verse, the next verse, the tune changes here. What does he say? Kamais taistair hrutadnyanaha prapadyantenya devataha. So there are many words conjoined here. Kamaihi, tai, taihi, hrutadnyanaha. This is one word. Then prapadyante, anya devataha. Tam niyamam asthaya prakrutya niyataha swaya. This is what he says. What does now its meaning? Kamaihi is desires. Kama is desire. Kamana is desire. So, and these desires means mostly the worldly desire, material desire. To have something, this, that, so many things. Okay. It can be wealth, it can be power, it can be name, fame, it can be one kind of pleasure, other kind of thing, so many things. Possession of things, this negative kinds of things, vanquishing of energy, death of his of his enemies, vanquishing of his enemies, etc., etc. They can be so many things. So some success, some glory, failure of others. This also can be my desire. Let some other fellow fail. So all these kinds of stuff. Kamaihi. Okay. So taihi, those this and that, what we say, of different desires. Hrutadnyanaha. Hrita is robbed. These desires, this knowledge. So Jnanaha referred here to people. The people whose knowledge is robbed by these desires, lot and lot of those desires, that desires we can say. So tai tai kamaihi. Such people of whose knowledge, jnanaha, prutadjnanaha. So knowledge robbed by different desires. What they do? Prapadyante anya devataha. They worship different gods. Now different gods is, so he is worshipping, suppose not worshipping Krishna, he is worshipping Rama or Shiva or Kali. That is not the meaning. Anya devata here are like in his life itself we see that Govardhan Leela. Okay, so they were all supposed to do offer obeisance and worship Indra. And Krishna fights that why do you do that? Anya devataha. So there are these gods which gives you material pleasures, material security, material assurance, worldly happiness. These all things, these superior entities, they have this power. They can give, like Indra, Varuna, Agni. Now you will say that nobody worship these gods anymore. Yes, only names are changed. Now they are called as actors, politicians, bureaucrats, even different kinds of systems. You value them more because you might value your car, that is devata for you. You might value your wealth, you might value your phone probably. You might value your wife or husband. You might value your friend or some contact or some class or some association or some membership. Anya devataha. You are making demigods of everything. Got it? So beautiful your idea. So these demigods are everywhere and you are worshipping them day and night. So your mind robbed by these different desires. Why you are worshipping them? Why you value them? Because in the back of your mind you harbor this your self-interest that probably this person will be helpful to me. He will save me from this problem. So like suppose a police fellow is there, even a traffic hawaldar, most ordinary fellow. If he picks something from the roadside cart, some vegetable, he will not pay. This fellow says nothing to him, because otherwise he can bring trouble to him. So devatas are like that. If you do not pray and give him their hapta, so they will make trouble to him. Like Indra, there in the Govardhan Leela, as soon as he sees that these fellows of the Gokul, they are not going to do yajna and put ahuti, he will say, I will drown you into the water. And he starts doing that, taking his attempt. Doesn't he do that? He does that. That is the nature of the demigods. As soon as you do not give him his portion, his cut, he is angered like anything and comes heavy upon you. These are these gods. We fear them because they can create trouble for us. So Bhagavan is saying, so these different desires, so, and especially the people whose heart is totally robbed, totally hijacked by these desires, that if you are seeking something, some job, some contract, some placement, some shortcut, somewhere you want to jump the queue, so you want to have a contact, some VIP access, and these demigods then plays their role. So your heart robbed this robbed of this knowledge by these desires, you will worship these demigods. Kamaistaistai hrutadhyanaha prapadyante anya devataha. So ठीक है कि नहीं? So this is our life, this is our reality. What does Bhagwan say? So this is essay. This is what people do. And then what happens? Bhagwan says, now that we do, but second thing is more terrible than that. What he is saying? What Bhagwan is saying here? He says, tam tam niyamam asthaya prakrutya niyataha swaya. What does he say? That according to your nature, swaya prakrutya, you seek these things because you are born of such sanskaras. You have these desires. You run after these things. And what does he say? You worship these demigods. And what is he saying? What Bhagwan is saying? He says that I establish your faith into those demigods. This is this is all the more terrible things. You run after him, and he says, tam tam niyamam asthaya. So this niyama that he made, he makes sure that your shraddha remains there. You do it convincingly, having faith into it. You generate, he establish, he gives that faith to you into those demigods. This is what he's saying. This terrible thing. So you are worshipping different these demigods who can become a demon at any time. You are running after them. He says, I ensure that your astha, your shraddha into them. Niyamam asthaya prakrutya niyata swaya. This is the flow of life. A person has to go through these experiences. He experiences good, bad, bitter, everything of it. Without that, he does not mature. These things, this doubt will not become anything serious for him. This fundamental question about the reality, whether this is all right what we are doing. So people do not doubt that. They are fully convinced. So unless we go through all these experiences, the philosophical truth, the scriptural truths, the higher dimensions and paradigms of life, of experiences, they will mean nothing. Once a person has gone through this, then only he will be able to correlate to these things. Then only he will have any maturity to receive such ideas about spiritual life. Otherwise, he will feel uncomfortable once whose time has not come. Sri Ramakrishna makes fun of different devotees. Like say, two friends come here, they are sitting in the room and they are listening to the dialogue and talk of Sri Ramakrishna on different ideas of spiritual life. So one friend, want to sit and want to hear more and more. Other friend is becoming restless. So what does Sri Ramakrishna say to him? He sees that he is not somehow able to set his mind onto the topic. So what does Sri Ramakrishna say to him? कि जाओ ना, तुम ये बाबू का थोड़ा बाड़ी वाड़ी देख के आओ, है ना, बंगला बंगला थोड़ा देख के आओ, बगान बगान थोड़ा देख के आओ. So Sri Ramakrishna understands that. So Sri Ramakrishna says to him that go around, see this beautiful building, temple and beautiful garden, etc. And he very, happily agrees and he goes about because his time has yet to come. So it will be unnerving, making him uncomfortable for that individual. These topics does not mean him anything. His time is yet to come. So that's why Bhagwan tam tam niyamam asthaya prakrutya nihata swaya. What true God we say, Ishvara, that is not the demigod. The Ishvara, he behaves like a mother. You do not like it, he does not force, he does not coax, he does not coerce or manipulate. He takes you by the hand, holding your finger, slowly raise you to the course of your fulfillment, onto the path of the growth. That is the true Ishvara. So this is different from these devatas which are called as. So there is a difference between these devatas which are referred to and Ishvara. Okay? So Krishna is not devata. Krishna is the Ishvara avatar, Ishvara himself. Okay. So when he says Anya Devata, therefore it does not mean so other forms of Ishvaras like Rama or Parshurama or even Shiva, Kali, Durga or other form. Because this form itself does not mean anything. The idea of Ishwar itself has the meaning. So when he says that those who only comes to me or surrenders to me or worship to me does not mean he only as uh, Vasudeva Krishna, the son of Janaki and Vasudeva, not in particular the Ishvara himself, any form. That is the idea. Okay. So this is what he says. Tam tam niyamam asthaya prakrutya nihata swaya. That so according to their nature, they follow these different gods. Swaya prakrutyaha. And so niyataha, that is influenced by or disciplined by, propelled by. That's why Prakriti is your nature. It is the summum bonum. It is aggregate of your deeds. What kind of deeds, what kind of choices, what kind of decisions you make, and that forms your character. That kind of person you become. This is your Prakriti. And that's why, so more or less what kind of decision you make is mostly influenced by this aggregate force. So niyataha, it is controlling that. Niyataha. Niyata by this swaya prakritihi. So in those kinds of gods, you keep this your asthaha, niyama. So devote themselves to other gods led by their own natures. And what does he say? Bhagavan says, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhayarchitum ichchati. That whosoever a devotee in whatsoever form want to worship and who has his shraddha, architum means archana means worship, architum ichchati, have such desire. Bhagwan says, in those form itself I made his shraddha, his faith unwavering, achalam. So I make his faith very focused and removes all disturbances. And this all vidadhami aham. So know that that it comes from me. I make them unwavering. Whatsoever form any devotee seeks to worship with shraddha, that shraddha of his do I make unwavering. I make it. Aham vidadhami. So I know that. Vidadhami, I make that श्रद्धा. ताम एव, जो भी भक्त है, so whosoever devotee wants to worship in whatsoever form I make his devotion to that form unwavering. So it is the same God, same principle who operates or who is working behind every form. So whatsoever form, tanum means rupam. Tanu is the sharir. So meaning that in any rupa, in any sharira, in whatsoever form you want to worship the God with shraddha, so your shraddha will be made, if it is your desire, you want to see the God and worship the God in this form, so God will make that your shraddha to that form unwavering. This is what Bhagavan says. Meaning that, so form, different forms of God, different rupas of God, that doesn't much matter. That doesn't much matter. So, and here especially, what he is saying, so if your desire is suppose to worship these demigods, with intent of fulfilling your desires, and Bhagavan says, I make his faith unwavering into it. That if you go after something, even that, so what will be the consequences? Anya Devata, you want to worship them. And he says, I consolidate, solidify his faith into it. I only do that. Vidadhami, I order that. And I know that. Now what does he say? Then he says, what is the consequences? What happens? Sataya shraddhaya yukta tasya aradhanam ihate. So by that faith, that person worship aradhanam means he does the aradhana of those demigods. Ihate, he starts that, engages into it, huh? And by that way, he what happens? Labhate cha tata kaman. He gets his desires fulfilled. Labhate cha tata means by that way, as a result of it, he gets his desires fulfilled. Kaman, labhate. The desires also get fulfilled. And know that when those desires get fulfilled, I only order that vihitan. This is the word used. So आपने इसको लॉ कॉलेज का नाम देखा होगा, अगर हिंदी में देखा है तो उसका विधि उसको कहते हैं, लॉ को कहते हैं विधि. ये शब्द इसी रूट से ही आता है, विहितान, विहित, दैट व्हाट इज राइटियस. सो विधि निषेध, सो विहितान. सो ही सेज आई ऑर्डेन that I make it possible that person attains and fulfill his desire by worshipping, by engaging into the worship of those Anya Devataha, demigods, with all that faith. He goes after it. He gets it. He gets the fruit of his worship, of propitiating those demigods. This everything happens. He said it happens by my order only. I only arrange it. I arrange it. I only orders it. Even if you are going to worship any other god, I am going to consolidate your faith into it, and you will get the fruits of your worship also. That also by my order only, by my because of my desire only, because I wish so. That's why only. But then he comes. Then he says the but tu. That is the word in Sanskrit. Antavattu phalam tesham. Tu. But this is the condition. The fruits of these tesham, of this all these endeavors, they are antavat. That is, they are limited. They are not. This gravy train is not going to roll on forever. So you can do that. There is no problem. But it cannot be this. This merrymaking cannot go on for long. Antavat tu phalam tesham tad bhavatya alpamedhasam. He says these people are alpamedhasam, of the very little understanding, of little intelligence. Medhasam, alpamedhasam, अल्प बुद्धि के लोग हैं ये. Means who means relinquishing diamonds go after the glass beads. He says that antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati. So for those people, what this happens, this alpa medhasam, alpa buddhi, of the very little understanding these people are. And these people, what is furthermore, those people worshipping these demigods, they goes to them and my devotee comes to me. So they will be entangled into this mire, and this is not always, so they have like, if Indra is happy, then it is very nice. If he is angry, then he is ready to drown you. So this love-hate relationship, it will go on. What if you are worshipping these demigods? You are always fraught with fear, and that's why you have to propitiate it to continue to let this show go on. Otherwise, that monster will anytime it will turn and devour you. So you are condemned to them. Devan deva yajo yanti. So one who is worshipping these demigods, Anya Devata, they are condemned to them, condemned to these demigods. So you are under their captivity as if you are slave to them. You enter there, you go deeper and deeper, and it will be very difficult to come out of it. Devan devayajo yanti. So this is your life will remain stifled and limited. It is like something that suppose you seek some favor from politician. Even if you do not like that person or his policy or something, you are condemned to, you cannot go to other person. Devan devayajo yanti. Everywhere. Suppose some person, he shows some favor to you. You seek the other person, immediately everything goes sour. So, not only that, yeah, why you didn't like my post on Facebook, but why did you like her post on Facebook? And quarrel starts. Devan devayajo yanti. This is the so, and mad bhakta yanti mamam. So relinquishing this temptation, the one who worship the true spirit, transcending this materialism, Ishvara, they will slowly attain to this spirituality. They might have to face this discomfort. They might not get these favors, but slowly, with the help of this, they will become free. They will not come and get trapped in this quagmire. So, mad bhakta yanti mamapi. So, he says, these are the two ways. So, according to the people's nature, so they are going to do that. And the people who have in the course of this growth after life, bahunam janmanam ante, who has matured, so they have taken this path to spirituality, to resist this temptation of materialism, and started deliberating, making efforts in that direction, and slowly, gradually, they will come to me, that they will attain this spiritual illumination, spiritual emancipation, that they will be free of this condemnation, this jail to which we call life. So somebody is like a pro-life activist. So they might say, what a hateful ideology, these words these are, that to the jail which we call life. Like you can imagine a bird, a dog, or an animal, a beast. into his cage, into his limited compound as per, and he says, "What a royal life I have, and I am getting food so many times. My master also comes and you see caresses me." That's it. So it is up to the dog or that beast or that pet, to admire his captivity. But that is not the life, that is not the freedom we know when we see it objectively. So we might, even if a chain is golden, you can think is an ornament, but it still binds you. Freedom is something we must able to conceive this idea first. You have some taste of it, then only you will be able to compare it to the state of slavery and what kind of confinement we are. That's why idea of mukti will only have meaning when you have idea of bandha, idea of bandhana, that what kind of slavery I am doing. Unless I realize that, the idea of freedom will not have any meaning. That's why people abuse their freedom, because they do not have any idea that what was the captivity, or you know that the absence of freedom was. Now, so mad bhakta yanti mamapi. So what is this thing? This is a, evolution of that individual into this path, into this curve of spirituality, who really is able to transcend, had developed the desire, have understood what is transient, what is uh, ephemeral, and really long. These things will not mean anything to person who cannot conceive this idea of what can be something truly spiritual, and what is that person, why this person is making sacrifices, or why you are not, so to say, in the worldly context, or pro life, or going after the world. Why you want to leave this, relinquish this? Why do you want to renounce this? Why do you want to give up? What do you want to attain? So if, unless that person has tasted and known something, there is higher than that, and it is not a belief, it is not an idea, it is not philosophy, it must be as real and more real than this world, or this all worldly notions, then only, for this person only, this can make the sense. For rest, who are graduating or slowly mature, then only they will be able to appreciate this idea. So spirituality, spirit, the desire to have that experience, to desire to transcend these limitations, to desire to experience this freedom, this infinity, the real self, bereft and beyond of all material notions of physical or psychology. So once first the knowledge, then the longing, the taste and the longing of it will slowly take that individual to that experience, which we consider as the ultimate experience any human being can have. The deepest, the most pervasive, the most pervading, and the most intensified experience, the press with the infinity. So here I will take the break, because from the next verse there is another one beautiful verse coming up in the 24th verse. That's why I didn't want to touch it. So we will take this in the next class. Okay. Anything? Any question? Yes. Hmm. You always see, that is wonderful way to put it. So, Devata and Ishwar, this is the difference. So, as I said to you, like Anya Devata means, Anya Devata does not mean that Shiva, Kali, Durga. I said that. So, if Shiva, Kali and Durga are not the Devatas, Saraswati indeed is not a Devata. What does define that Devata and Ishvara? Okay. So, how do you see this thing? What is your approach? That only determines it. A person can make Ishvara itself into a Devata, because it is how does he approach to this subject matter itself. If he simply think that go to Bajrang Bali's mandir and he will do these things and I will give him these things and this much rupees worth laddu or nariyal or something or some Saturdays this oil sindur something घंटा देंगे इधर घंटेश्वर मंदिर है and he will you are turning him into devata. किसी का भी भगवान कृष्ण का भी कर सकते तुम न उसको ये चढ़ाओ. You are not seeing the spirit, you are materialistic, it is devata. You are spiritually oriented, then anything can be Ishvara. Do you see the Ishvara? That is the point. Then when you are worshipping the divine, and in that sense, we say that may he or whatsoever form he or she be conducive, do conducive to the best I can or to the best of my good, for the best of my good, so that ultimately, so this purpose of life, the objectives of life are attained and I progress towards spirituality. So ultimately, when Swamiji is praying, now Devi Saraswati, Sri Ramakrishna is praying, it is not he is seeking success on that platform. Your intention is important. Kama istaistai vrita jnana. This is the condition. Is your heart is robbed of the knowledge by your desires. Desires of what? Desires of world. Now we are suppose monks or any person for that matter doing so many things. Okay, activity. So sometimes suppose I am in trouble, I am praying to God, I am praying to suppose Thakur, Swamiji. So how can I do this? So what is my mind, how I am oriented, will only decide whether, so Devata is only for material prosperity and Ishwar is for spiritual growth, material prosperity or material success or whatsoever. So when we are praying to Ishwara, many times we see from the letters of Swami Vivekananda, so that mother knows the rest. So mother will do the rest. So like we do not know what he, when we are praying, I am not saying, I am not ordering something that let it be like this. I say let mother be your will be done. So because I do not know what exactly means, whether this is going to mean this is right or that is wrong or this should happen or that should happen. Let it happen in whatever way. Let my mind be at his or her feet. That is my prayer. So this is the difference between prapadyante anya devataha and worshipping the God Ishvara itself. Okay. 12 तारीख को. अच्छा फिर नहीं वो होगा नहीं, वहाँ पे फंक्शन चलेगा ना. तो नेक्स्ट संडे एक यहाँ पे कल एनुअल स्कूल कॉलेज कंपटीशन का प्राइज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, इसलिए नेक्स्ट संडे हमारा क्लास नहीं होगा। 12 के कल कितना कौन सा तारीख है? 12 के बाद 19। ओके, होगा। 19 को महाशिवरात्रि का दूसरा दिन है। ठीक है, तो 19 को क्लास लेंगे फिर। ठीक है, फिर 21 को ठाकुर तिथि पूजा है, और फिर 21 के बाद जो ये आएगा 19 के बाद 26 को फिर से क्लास देखते हैं, शायद नहीं होगा क्योंकि सकवार में वो पब्लिक फंक्शन रहेगा इसलिए। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। Next Sunday there won't be a class.